This is the reading of the beginning of the book of Exodus, also called Shemot, and this Torah portion's name is also Shemot, which means names. And it begins, "Now these are the names of the children of Israel who came to Egypt," or Mitzrayim. "Each man and his household came with Yaakov: Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, and Benjamin, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. All those who were descendants of Yaakov were 70 persons, for Joseph was in Egypt already. And Joseph died, all his brothers, and all that generation. But the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly," or literally swarmed, "multiplied and grew exceedingly mighty, and the land was filled with them." Before we get much further, I want to point out this Aleph and Tav next to the word Yaakov. Verse 8, "Now there arose a new king over Mitzrayim, or Egypt, who did not know Joseph. And he said to his people, 'Look, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Come, let us deal shrewdly with them, lest they multiply, and it happen, in the event of war, that they also join our enemies and fight against us, and so go up out of the land.' Therefore they set taskmasters." Someone said it literally means taskmasters, but we'll go with taskmaster. Oh my gosh. Taskmasters over them to afflict them with their burdens. And they built for Pharaoh supply cities, Pithom and Ramses. But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew. And they were in dread of the children of Israel. So the Egyptians made the children of Israel serve with rigor, and they made their lives bitter with hard bondage, in mortar, in brick, and in all manner of service in the field. All their service in which they made them serve was with rigor." That verse also has an Aleph and Tav in it. Next to, after field, et kol avodatim, which is their service. "Then the king of Egypt spoke to the Hebrew midwives, of whom the name of one was Shiphrah, and the name of the other Puah. And he said, 'When you do the duties of a midwife for the Hebrew women, and see them on the birth stool, if it is a son, then you shall kill him. But if it is a daughter, then she shall live.' But the midwives feared Eloheim, and did not do as the king of Egypt commanded them, but saved the male children alive. So the king of Egypt called for the midwives, and said to them, 'Why have you done this thing, and saved the male children alive?' And the midwives said to Pharaoh, 'Because the Hebrew women are not like the Egyptian women, for they are lively,' or literally like animals, 'and give birth before the midwives come to them.' Therefore Elohim dealt well with the midwives, and the people multiplied and grew very mighty. And so it was, because the midwives feared Elohim, that he provided households for them. So Pharaoh commanded all his people, saying, 'Every son who is born you shall cast into the river, and every daughter you shall save alive.' And a man of the house of Levi went and took his wife, a daughter of Levi. So the woman conceived and bore a son. And when she saw that he was beautiful," or literally ki tov, which this tet right here is an enlarged tet, which is a tittle. That's a jot. as in jots and tittles that Yeshua says. But anyway, that's a jot. Sorry, let's start this verse over again. So the woman conceived and bore a son, and when she saw that he was ki tov, or very good, she hid him 3 months. But when she could no longer hide him, she took an ark of bulrushes for him, daubed it with asphalt and pitch, put the child in it, and laid it in the reeds by the river's bank. And his sister stood afar off to know what would be done to him. Then the daughter of Pharaoh came down to bathe in the river, and her maidens walked along the riverside. And when she saw the ark among the reeds, she sent her maid to get it. And when she opened it, she saw the child, and behold, the baby wept. So she had compassion on him, and said, "This is one of the Hebrews' children." Then his sister said to Pharaoh's daughter, "Shall I go and call a nurse for you from the Hebrew women, that she may nurse the child for you?" And Pharaoh's daughter said to her, "Go." So the maiden went and called the child's mother. Then Pharaoh's daughter said to her, "Take this child away and nurse him for me, and I will give you your wages." So the woman took the child and nursed him. And the child grew, and she brought him to Pharaoh's daughter, and he became her son. So she called his name Moshe, saying, "Because I drew him out of the water." Now it came to pass in those days, when Moshe was grown, that he went out to his brethren and looked at their burdens, and he saw an Egyptian beating a Hebrew, one of his brethren. So he looked this way and that way, and when he saw no one, he killed the Egyptian and hid him in the sand. And when he went out the second day, behold, 2 Hebrew men were fighting, and he said to one who did the wrong, "Why are you striking your companion?" Then he said, "Who made you a prince and a judge over us? Do you intend to kill me as you killed the Egyptian?" So Moses feared and said, "Surely this thing is known." When Pharaoh heard of this matter, he sought to kill Moshe. But Moshe fled from the face of Pharaoh and dwelt in the land of Midian, and he sat down by a well. Now the priest of Midian had 7 daughters, and they came and drew water, and they filled the troughs to water their father's flock. Then the shepherds came and drove them away, but Moshe stood up and helped them, and watered their flock. When they came to Reuel, their father, he said, "How is it that you have come so soon today?" And they said, "An Egyptian delivered us from the hand of the shepherds, and he also drew enough water for us and watered the flock." So he said to his daughters, "And where is he? Why is it that you have left the man? Call him that he may eat bread." Then Moshe was content to live with a man, and he gave Zipporah his daughter to Moshe, and she bore him a son. He called his name Gershom, for he said, "I have been a stranger in a foreign land." Now it happened in the process of time that the king of Egypt died. Then the children of Israel groaned because of the bondage, and they cried out, and their cry came up to Eloheim because of the bondage. So Elohim heard their groaning, and Elohim remembered his covenant with Abraham, with Isaac, and with Jacob. And Elohim looked upon the children of Israel, and Elohim acknowledged them. Now Moshe was tending the flock of Yithro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, and he led the flock to the back of the desert, and came to Horeb, the mountain of Elohim. And the angel of Yahovah appeared to him in a flame of fire from the midst of a bush. So he looked, and behold, the bush was burning with fire, but the bush was not consumed. Then Moshe said, "I will now turn aside and see this great sight, why the bush does not burn." So when Yahovah saw that he turned aside to look, Elohim called to him from the midst of the bush and said, "Moshe, Moshe." And he said, "Hineni." Then he said, "Do not draw near this place. Take your sandals off your feet, for the place where you stand is holy ground. Moreover," he said, "I am Eloheim of your father, Eloheim of Abraham, Eloheim of Yitzhak, and Eloheim of Yaakov." And Moses hid his face, for he was afraid to look upon Elohim. And Jehovah said, "I have surely seen the oppression of my people who are in Egypt, and have heard their cry because of their taskmasters. For I know their sorrows. So I have come down to deliver them out of the hand of the Egyptians, and to bring them up from that land to a good and large land, to a land flowing with milk and honey, to the place of the Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites. Now therefore, behold, the cry of the children of Israel has come to me, and I have also seen the oppression with which the Egyptians oppress them. Come now, therefore, and I will send you to Pharaoh, that you may bring my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt." But Moshe said to Elohim, "Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh, and that I should bring the children of Israel out of Egypt?" So he said, "I will certainly be with you, and this shall be a sign to you that I have sent you. When you have brought the people out of Egypt, you shall serve Elohim on this mountain." Then Moshe said to Elohim, "Indeed, when I come to the children of Israel and say to them, Eloheim of your fathers has sent me to you, and they say to me, What is his name? What shall I say to them?" And Elohim said to Moshe, "Ehyeh asher ehyeh, I am who I am." And he said, "Thus you shall say to the children of Israel, Ehyeh has sent me to you." Moreover, Elohim said to Moshe, "Thus you shall say to the children of Israel, Yahovah Eloheim of your fathers, Eloheim of Abraham, Eloheim Yitzhak, and the Eloheim of Yaakov has sent me to you. This is my name forever, and this is my memorial to all generations. Go and gather the elders of Israel together, and say to them, Yahovah Eloheim of your fathers, Eloheim Abraham, of Yitzhak, and of Yaakov, appeared to me, saying, I have surely visited you, and seen what is done to you in Egypt. And I have said, I will bring you up out of the affliction of Egypt, to the land of the Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, to a land flowing with milk and honey. Then they will heed your voice, and you shall come, you and the elders of Israel, to the king of Mitzrayim, or Egypt, and you shall say to him, Yahovah, Elohai of the Hebrews, has met with us. And now, please, let us go 3 days' journey into the wilderness, that we may sacrifice to Yahovah Eloheinu. But I am sure that the king of Egypt will not let you go. No, not even by a mighty hand. So I will stretch out my hand and strike Mitzrayim with all my wonders, which I will do in its midst. And after that, he will let you go. And I will give this people favor in the sight of the Egyptians. And it shall be, when you go, that you shall not go empty-handed, but every woman shall ask of her neighbor, namely of her who dwells near her house, articles of silver, articles of gold, and clothing. You shall put them on your sons and on your daughters, so you shall plunder the Egyptians." Then Moshe answered and said, "But suppose they will not believe me or listen to my voice. Suppose they say, Yahovah has not appeared to you." So Yahovah said to him, "What is that in your hand?" He said, "A rod." And he said, "Cast it on the ground." So he cast it on the ground, and it became a serpent, and Moses fled from it. Then Yahovah said to Moshe, "Reach out your hand and take it by the tail." And he reached out his hand and caught it, and it became a rod in his hand. That they may believe that Yahovah, Elohai of their fathers, Elohai Abraham, Elohai Isaac, and Elohai of Yaakov has appeared to you. Furthermore, Yahovah said to him, "Now put your hand in your bosom." And he put his hand in his bosom, and when he took it out, behold, his hand was leprous, like snow, kasheleg. And he said, "Put your hand in your bosom again." So he put his hand in his bosom again, and drew it out of his bosom, and behold, it was restored like his flesh. Then it will be, if they do not believe you, nor heed the message of the first sign, that they may believe the message of the latter sign. And it shall be, if they do not believe even these two signs, or listen to your voice, that you shall take water from the river and pour it on the dry land. The water which you take from the river will become blood on the dry land. Then Moshe said to Yahovah, "Be Adonai, or O Adonai, I am not eloquent, neither before nor since you have spoken to your servant, but I am slow of speech and slow of tongue." So Yahovah said to him, "Who has made man's mouth? Or who makes the mute, the deaf, the seeing, or the blind? Have not I Yahovah? Now therefore go, and I will be with your mouth, and teach you what you shall say." But he said, "Be Adonai, please send by the hand of whomever else you may send." So the anger of Yahovah was kindled against Moshe, and he said, "Is not Aharon the Levite your brother? I know that he can speak well. And look, he is also coming out to meet you. When he sees you, he will be glad in his heart. Now you shall speak to him and put the words in his mouth, and I will be with your mouth and with his mouth, and I will teach you, Aleph and Tav, what you shall do. So he shall be your spokesman to the people, and he himself shall be as a mouth for you, and you shall be to him as Elohim. And you shall take this rod in your hand, with which you shall do the signs." So Moshe went and returned to Yithro, his father-in-law, and said to him, "Please let me go and return to my brethren who are in Mitzrayim, and see whether they are still alive." And Yithro said to Moshe, "Go in peace," or Lech LaShalom. Lech LaShalom. That's kind of nice to say. Repeat after me. Lech LaShalom. Now Yahovah said to Moshe in Midian, "Go, return to Egypt, for all the men who sought your life are dead." Then Moshe took his wife and his sons and set them on a donkey, and he returned to the land of Mitzrayim. And Moshe took the rod of Elohim in his hand. And Yahovah said to Moshe, "When you go back to Mitzrayim, see that you do all these wonders before Pharaoh, which I have put in your hand. But I will harden his heart, so that he will not let the people go. Then you shall say to Pharaoh, Thus says Yahovah, Israel is my son, my firstborn. So I say to you, let my son go, that he may serve me. But if you refuse to let him go, indeed I will kill your son, your firstborn." And it came to pass on the way at the encampment that Yahovah met him and sought to kill him. Then Zipporah took a sharp stone and cut off the foreskin of her son and cast it at his feet and said, "Surely you are a husband of blood to me." So he let him go. Then she said, "You are a husband of blood because of the circumcision." And Moshe said to Aaron, "Go into the wilderness to meet Moshe." So he went and met him on the mountain of Elohim and kissed him. So Moshe told Aaron Olive Tav, all the words of Yahovah who had sent him, Olive Tav, and all the signs which he had commanded him. Then Moshe and Aaron went and gathered together all the elders of the children of Israel. And Aaron spoke, Olive and Tav, all the words which Yahovah had spoken to Moshe. Then he did the signs in the sight of the people, so the people believed. And when they heard that Yahovah had visited the children of Israel, and that he had looked on their affliction, then they bowed their heads and worshipped. Look at all those olive and Tavs right there. Yeshua is really with them. Afterward, Moshe and Aaron went in and told Pharaoh, Thus says Yahovah, Elohai Israel, let my people go, that they may hold a feast to me in the wilderness. And Pharaoh said, Who is Yahovah, that I should obey his voice to let Israel go? I do not know Yahovah, nor will I let Israel go. So they said, Elohai of the Hebrews has met with us. Please let us go 3 days' journey into the desert and sacrifice to Yahovah Eloheinu, lest he fall upon us with pestilence or with the sword. Then the king of Mitzrayim said to them, Moshe and Aharon, why do you take the people from their work? Get to your labor. And Pharaoh said, Look, the people of the land are many now, and you make them rest from their labor. So the same day Pharaoh commanded the taskmasters of the people and their officers, saying, You shall no longer give the people straw to make bricks as before. Let them go and gather straw for themselves, and you shall lay on them the quota of bricks which they made before. You shall not reduce it, for they are idle. Therefore they cry out, saying, Let us go, sacrifice to Eloheinu. Let more work be laid on the men, that they may labor in it, and let them not regard false words. And the taskmasters of the people and their officers went out and spoke to the people, saying, Thus says Pharaoh, I will not give you straw. Go get yourselves straw where you can find it. Yet none of your work will be reduced. So the people were scattered abroad throughout all the land of Mitzrayim to gather stubble instead of straw. And the taskmasters forced them to hurry, saying, Fulfill your work, your daily quota, as when there was straw. Also the officers of the children of Israel, whom Pharaoh's taskmasters had set over them, were beaten and were asked, Why have you not fulfilled your task in making brick, both yesterday and today as before? Then the officers of the children of Israel came and cried out to Pharaoh, saying, Why are you dealing thus with your servants? There is no straw given to your servants, and they say to us, Make brick. And indeed, your servants are beaten, but the fault is in your own people. But he said, Nirpim, you are Nirpim, or idle. Therefore you say, Let us go and sacrifice to Yahovah. Therefore go now and work, for no straw shall be given you, yet you still shall deliver the quota of bricks. Kind of put an extra word in there. And the officers of the children of Israel saw that they were in trouble, after it was said, You shall not reduce bricks from your daily quota. Then they came out from Pharaoh. As they came out from Pharaoh, they met Moshe and Aaron, who stood there to meet them. And they said to them, Let Yahovah look on you and judge, because you have made us abhorrent in the sight of Pharaoh and in the sight of his servants, to put a sword in their hand to kill us. So Moshe returned to Yahovah and said, Adonai, why have you brought trouble on this people? Why is it you have sent me? For since I came to Pharaoh to speak in your name, he has done evil to this people. Neither have you delivered your people at all. Then Yahovah said to Moshe, Now you shall see what I will do to Pharaoh. For with a strong hand he will let them go, and with a strong hand he will drive them out of his land. And that's the end of this Torah portion. Torah portion, Shemot. Thanks for joining us.